I enjoyed talking to both of these guys yesterday separately. And for those that don't know, the movie's called Baby Done. And what a time to release a movie in New Zealand. First of all, from a congratulatory point of view, I mean, this literally is the worst year in history to release a movie, right? But this thing made $1 million in the box office. So huge congratulations, because that's unheard of for a New Zealand movie. And I was talking to Morgan about it, like in this moment, the two things people are looking to are essential workers and creatives. Bring us into that.
Yeah, I think there was a really interesting kind of observation that started to happen when New Zealand went into lockdown and the world went into lockdown, was we turned to our essential workers and to artists. We looked to musicians and we looked to filmmakers, because everybody was stuck in their homes and watching content. They were watching movies, they were turning on Netflix, they were turning on Hulu, or they were listening to Spotify or their favourite records. So that was really special and kind of gratifying to know that even though it's a pandemic, that artists are just as essential.
I mean, so for you, what do you think was harder, releasing a film this year or writing one when you're heavily pregnant?
I wrote this film when I was pregnant with my first baby and finished it when I was pregnant with my second, and then we shot it. I had a 2-year-old and a 3-month-old, and the father of them was the director. It was hell. It was hellish.
You did say, why would anyone do that? So why did you do that?
I mean, I wrote this film as a way of coping. I was really scared that when I became a mum, I would lose my old life, and I was kind of grieving for that and desperate to just live 9 months like it was my last and get this film up. And that's kind of what the film was about. I was not a well-behaved pregnant woman. I was, and neither is my character in the film. And I think in a way I was trying to prove to myself that I could have both.
And it was like a band of thousands, right? You had people rocking the babies when you were trying to write. And
that's right. Morgan would come over while I was writing the script and rock my baby, who also the baby cried for 100 days non-stop.
Wow.
She was not an easy baby. And Taika paid for my nanny. That was nice. I was very supportive.
How did that conversation go? Were you like, look, man, I need some cash for the nanny, or?
I think it was more, we were like, hey, Sophie, look, we know you're really pregnant, but we really need the script. How can we help? And I think that was actually something really cool to take away from it, that it's not that hard to support parents. It's actually not that hard, and parents don't get enough support. And so, yeah, that was really great to be able to be like, yeah, let's get a nanny, let's do whatever we can to help get this script written and get this film made.
I know when we were talking yesterday, Piki Films, where you are, and really about looking for a unique perspective on things, right? Well, this certainly was that. You know, what attracted you to this relationship, and I like what you said about when we like something, we can help create momentum. I mean, how do you do that?
For those of you who don't know, Baby Done was a comedy that came out this year. It's a film that Sophie wrote about a woman who, when she becomes pregnant, she just totally freaks out that she doesn't want to be an adult. She wants a baby, but she doesn't want to lose her life. And
she's an arborist.
She's an arborist, like a tree, like someone who trims trees and climbs trees, and just basically a badass. And when we read it, it was a really fresh perspective on pregnancy. And at Piki Films, we look for and champion and love fresh perspectives on something. So I really connected with it at a personal level with the film, and we are able to just start a momentum with the film, and Sophie and Curtis were just as up for, like, kind of charging ahead with it as well. We had Rose Matafeo on board as our lead. We got Matthew Lewis from Harry Potter as the other lead. Got him over here, shot the film on a pretty low budget, and we were able to get a really great momentum going because we loved the fresh observations about pregnancy and about parenthood, and managed to get everybody else excited about it as well.
Well, I mean, yeah, everyone saw it. Obviously, the number doesn't lie, and I guess for you probably were looking forward to travelling, to go to different film festivals and sell this movie, and then, of course, COVID comes along. So how was that? How did you deal with that? And I guess what's the movement for you now? I mean, are you through it?
It's really lovely for the film to be out in the world. We delayed the release. This year there has been no film festivals. There's been digital festivals, which we weren't that into because people could pirate. And so, that was the original plan, was to be able to travel the world. Like, that's the only reason you make films, right? So you can go, other people can pay for you to go overseas.
You did tell me, my plan was to move to LA.
That was it.
You've never been there, huh?
I've never been to Hollywood.
Yeah. Is there a world where you would love to work here and not go there?
I think pre-COVID, the whole idea was like, okay, off the back of this, we'll move to America because that's where the work is, it's where the money is, it's where the actors are. That just seemed like the logical step, and now I'm so grateful to be here, actually. And Hollywood is coming this way instead. Yeah,
funnily enough, you were saying that you're having a lot of general meetings with agents and producers in LA because we have normalised, I guess, the Zoom meeting. But Morgan, you were shaking your head there going, hey, that's not the case. There are some good actors and it's good to find talent here.
What was I shaking? I'm not sure, but just that, now America wants to come here. America wants to come here and make movies here and make TV shows here because we have incredible studios and we have incredible talent and we have the track record of handling a pandemic really well. So there are shows coming here and there are movies coming here, and so I think it's really exciting.
You were kind of talking through the pros of COVID. So what, from your perspective, what have been the good things if we try and stay positive about this crazy 2020?
The government has injected $50 million into the arts. That's pretty special. It's pretty unheard of.
I think it was more. I think it was about 170 million into the arts, and it was 50 million specifically into the New Zealand film industry, and they're allocating that spend next year.
To local stories, right? It has to be New Zealand filmmakers.
Correct. Has to be local IP. Has to be New Zealand IP. But so that's one of the pros, and then the other pro was probably just, as I was saying before, that actually because we have a track record of handling the pandemic so well, we are a hotspot for filmmaking.
I think obviously there's a lot of people here in the creative spaces. Sometimes you can talk to people and they really are sort of in a scarcity mindset. New Zealand sucks, it's so hard to do anything meaningful here. But when we talked yesterday, Morgan, you were saying this could be one of the best countries in the world to make a film. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I think just for some context around that, I think there's it is tough to make a film. Like, yes, it is tough to make a film, but out of UK, America, a lot of countries, New Zealand is one of the easiest countries to make an independent film because we have what we call soft money. We have access to amazing rebates. We have access to a New Zealand Film Commission. We actually have a government commission that helps us get films made. That is not the case in America. If you're not, and you need to really go through a studio system, or it's really tough. So actually in New Zealand, it's relatively speaking, it's easy to make films here. It's hard to make your first film. So that was what was so exciting about Baby Done, was to get such momentum behind Curtis and Sophie. It was technically their second film, but it was my first film, and I think there can be a misconception that you need to go to America to make movies. That's not true. You can make awesome movies here.
Important though to find your voice here. I know we were talking about Taika and how his kind of idea was, I've got to find my voice before I go to America, and a lot of people kind of want to skip that part and just go straight to the States because they see the money and the opportunity. How important is it to kind of get that message out that you've really got to sort of find your feet before you can go to these bigger markets? And we were kind of joking about it as well, about the ability to talk about yourself. And that was one of the things I struggled. You kind of have to brag in a way about who you are and what you've done, and that's very un-Kiwi in some ways.
Not New Zealand at all, is it?
How have you found that?
Don't be too good, stay humble.
Yeah, exactly. But it's you had an interesting perspective, Morgan, is it's kind of disrespectful.
In America, it's disrespectful to be too humble. Like if someone introduces you and this is a producer and you're like, oh yeah, I sort of. People are like, wow, rude. I just totally threw you a line and you threw me under the bus. So to be able to articulate your skills confidently, not over-inflate them, but articulate your skills or your trajectory and ambitions just with confidence is just considered manners. Like it's so culturally jarring, and we in New Zealand are just too, we're just not very good at explaining what we do or what we want to be or our body of work or things like that.
To me, so much is about a muscle, right? And the more you use that muscle, the better you get at it. And we just don't do it enough. You know, we don't talk about ourselves and say, hey, there's this really great thing, or check this out. Even looking for feedback. I think that the mentoring, relationship in New Zealand is tough. I mean, how have you found it, Sophie, as far as, are there people that have put their hand up to mentor you?
I mean, my mentor was an incredible showrunner in Australia. You know, I got set up with her, and she, you know, there's real pathways in Australia for television writers, and she brought me over to Melbourne, gave me a job, put me on her staff writing. I've never had that opportunity here. I think people are like, this is my patch, and we don't want new people. And I think it can be really, if you get there, don't let anyone else in. Hold on to it. I promise to not be like that when I'm big time. It is that scarcity where
there's not quite enough, right? There's not enough. So if I give it to him or her, it's taking it away from me. I mean, what's your take on it, Morgan? Comparing it, I guess, to America, where there are so many more films that are made, and it's such a goal for people to sort of succeed there.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak kind of specifically for writing. Writing is quite difficult in New Zealand. I guess as far as ambitions or aspirations to be in the film industry in general, though, people are really generous if you are specific about your ask. If you say, hey, can we just get coffee? Or, hey, I want to talk about financing. Or, hey, I want to talk about writing. Or I think people do want to be generous, and I think potentially also something Americans do really well is give and take feedback. We're a bit kind of cagey about it. Like, we showed Baby Done to heaps of people before, as we were cutting, and it was really unusual. But we wanted to make it, we were open to the constructive criticism. We wanted to make it great and funny.
That's right. I always want my scripts to be better. And I think if someone's not giving you criticism, they're actually not helpful. There's love in criticism.
Yeah, and there's something so powerful in vulnerability, right? You're kind of going, oh, what do you think? And people are going to kind of respond to that level of honesty, right?
Yeah, it's painful writing. It's really scary to put yourself out there and your ideas and your characters and usually your life as well. Because my writing tends to be quite autobiographical. You've got to have thick and thin skin.
We talked about writing and how you find inspiration, and how your dad's a gynecologist. Yeah, so that's what
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, your download was it's weird to have your dad who knows more about that than you do. It's kind of, but that's what you're writing on.
TV show that I'm writing.
Yeah, exactly. You're writing on that right now. So I guess the advice is
around it.
Look at what you can do that no one else can. What you can write out from a perspective that no one else really can quite understand, because
you're the only person who can tell your stories. I think finding your unique perspective is what makes you special in whatever it is you do.
Yes, please. I guess a lot of people would look to someone like Taika, who has done so well, and I know that you guys have got a relationship with him. So what do you think it is, what is the important thing to him now that he's found that success around bringing up, I sort of said that quote before, and I think it's a great one, sending that elevator back down. How much opportunity is out there for not only young creatives, but creatives that are undiscovered. Morgan, from your point of view.
I think there's endless opportunity. There really is. Like Sophie says, focus on what makes you, what makes your stories, what makes them unique and special, and how are they like something we've never seen before. And I think there's endless opportunity for that. People are always going to want fresh stories, and I think that, Piki Films, Carthew and Taika's company, they want to help make those stories, champion those stories.
Also, you want to?
The best advice I've ever had in the creative sector is just to do it now. You know, that as artists and creatives, we are so good at talking about our ideas, our amazing ideas, when we could just be getting on and like getting them done.
Yeah.
And
As the great man Hamish Pinkham once said to me, you got to stop stopping, you know, because
that's good.
and you can't steer a parked car. I mean, this guy's just hammering me with all these great quotes, but it is so true,
Yeah,
you know,
I
because
think-
sometimes it can be that analysis paralysis, and you're creative, and you just to put yourself out for judgment is a very hard thing to do because most creatives, they do have a sensitivity, and you're exposing yourself with art, aren't you?
That's right. And I just tried. I don't have a big plan for the future. I'm trying to be open and follow my compass of curiosity, and I think that will just bring me whatever career I'm supposed to have. And
Be the hardest working underdog. Is
Yeah,
what
that's
you said
right.
yesterday.
Yeah.
And I guess that was that people weren't sure whether or not you could do it, so you said, "Screw it, let's show them that we can." Right?
Got it. Prove them wrong.
Yeah. Morg, what have you got coming up? Like, what are you working on? And the good thing about these events as well is these guys are going to hang around. So if you've got any questions or you want to just come up and get their email address so you can send them 30 script ideas. She loves that, right? No. But, you know, what are you looking for right now? Because we were talking about that Kiwi comedy, it's a genre. You know, in America, they kind of go, it's a Kiwi comedy script.
Yeah, accidentally we've become this kind of subgenre, especially in America. Like we were talking about Baby Done there a while ago, and people consider it a Kiwi comedy, and we never set out to make a Kiwi comedy, but people really see it as that, and people really think of it as a high caliber comedy. So that's really cool. We love doing comedy at Piki, and but we've got a whole bunch of stuff kind of in development. It's been a really great year for development. We've had them like trapped at home, so we've been able to make them like just work really hard on all their scripts. So that's been really fun. Can't remember the question.
I think you nailed it. I think you answered it, whatever it was. And look, we're going to wrap it up with these guys. Thank you very much for giving up your time. And I guess they are part of the community, and I really mean it. They're open for questions tonight, or if you do want to ask, how to get something done. Both of them have been incredible. I've been speaking with them on the phone, so thank you for being so open and honest, and appreciate you giving up your time. Can we give both these amazing young ladies a round of applause?
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.